guard to go with it, and that's where I think that the Kings are sort of behind. They're behind specifically Portland in this search to try to build your roster better. But I do like the idea. I really like the idea of, again, Chris Paul working with
Stephon Castle.
Yeah, Stephon Castle in San Antonio. Like it's a really, really smart strategy to help a young point guard along.
Yeah.
And it's something that I don't think happens enough. And it's also, hey, it's something Scott Perry did in 2017. He drafted De'Aaron Fox with the number 5 overall pick, and then he brought in George Hill to be that guy to work with him for 3 years.
Yeah.
But you got to have the top tier point guard prospect for that whole thing to work. And Scott would have a year sort of to figure that one out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tough spot for the Kings for sure with the point guard stuff.
Well, that and everything I'm hearing, Kyle, everything I'm hearing is that priority number 1 for the Kings, like league sources are telling me, their number 1 priority is finding a point guard. And they are putting almost everything on hold right now to make sure that they get that position filled in the next couple of days, because we're literally talking about, like, the draft is tomorrow. Free agency starts on, Monday, where you can start having conversations with players. We'll know whether they're going to land a player in the next 4 to 5 days, 6 days. And that's what their priority is. And I don't blame them. Like,
yeah, I don't hate that.
If you're going to build a culture, it's really difficult to build the culture of a team without knowing what your point guard is.
1,000%.
Yeah. And if your culture starter at the point guard position was Drew Holiday, you did a good job. The fact is he's an older player, so you're going to have to deal with that aspect of it. But that's still like a really, really good starting point.
Okay. So let's play a fun game. This is why I like to print out my rundowns, because I can write on them.
Oh yeah.
But I'll just type, I guess. Let's who are some point guards they could conceivably go chase? Derek White, who we'll talk about in a bit. We'll talk about more Celtics players who could be going.
Yeah,
Ja Morant, Trae Young.
Okay.
We're talking trades here, I imagine, because I don't think they're putting all their eggs in the free agency basket, given that the list of free agents is uninspiring.
It's like the 2 Jones boys.
Yeah. LaMelo.
Yep. LaMelo. Maybe Ja.
I got Ja Morant.
Okay, you got Ja.
I have Derek White, Ja Morant, Trae Young, LaMelo Ball. Are those the 4 like needle movers at point guard?
Well, yeah, because those are the 4 guys who are top 15 point guards.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't, and I'm sure that maybe there's some weird trade. Emmanuel Quickley will go on this list.
Okay.
Just because we've heard his name a lot.
Oh, Darius Garland.
Oh, Darius Garland's another good one. So that's just it. Now we're looking at 6 names.
Something like that. Yeah, because I'm just going through the list. I'm not trading for Lonzo Ball.
Right, because you're looking for an impact player.
Yeah.
There were some free agents: Trey Jones, Tyus Jones, Dennis Schroeder. Where if that's your second point guard, you feel pretty good about it.
Yeah.
That's not a culture setting primary number 1 game in, game out ball handler, scorer, distributor. Offensive catalyst.
Well, even like people have brought up Jordan Poole, and I don't put Jordan Poole in that list at all. Like, he's not a top. I don't think he's not a top 20 point guard, let alone a top 15.
He can dish it a little bit, but he's not. I wouldn't call him a point guard.
No. And again, I've brought this name up, but there's no way he's going to be available, and that's Tyrese Maxey. Yeah. So if there's a player out there that I'm like pushing all of my chips in, and I'm saying, hey, look, I'm giving up 5 first round picks for something crazy. It's not Trey. It's not LaMelo. It's not Ja.
Okay, so if Tyrese Maxey, we're going to do something I call tiers, right? Okay. So it's TIERS. So like the top tier is the best.
Yep.
The second tier, instead of trying to rank them, because then you get into nitpicking, it's this thing I invented. It's called tiers.
Yep.
You're welcome, everybody. You can use it. So if Tyrese Maxey is a tier 1 guy for you?
Oh, yeah. He's for beyond
sure.
tier 1. I think he's probably, at this point, he's young Drew Holiday with more scoring upside, and he's probably the best 2-way point guard right now in the league.
Which is probably why he is not available at all.
Well, and he's 25 years old or whatever he is.
But who knows? Weird things happen in the NBA, right? Derek White, tier 1.
He's a step, like, I only have one tier 1.
Okay.
But then tier 2, yeah, Derek White's in tier 2.
Okay, so Derek White's tier 2.
Yep.
Darius Garland, tier 2?
Yes. And I like Darius Garland a lot as well, but he's more of an offensive version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not super defensive minded, but I think Darius Garland, for me, if we remove Tyrese Maxey from the list, because I don't think he's going to be available, but again, weird things happen in the NBA, so we'll keep him here. Darius Garland, to me, is at the top of the list because he's a tier 1 guy for me, because I think there is still so much upside with him as a player.
Yeah.
Where you give him the keys, because right now he takes a backseat to Donovan Mitchell. Oh, and then there's Evan Mobley. Oh, and then you've got Max Strus who can shoot it, and then you've got Jared Allen who's catching lobs, and you got all these. There's all these different things happening offensively for them. Where I think if he comes to Sacramento, it's, hey, this is your team.
Mm-hmm.
You're the guy.
Yep.
So go be. I think he'd be 25 plus points a night type of point guard. With
quality, it's very possible.
Yeah, who can distribute and do all the things you want a point guard to do. So I've got Darius Garland and I think Derek White's in that same box for me.
Yeah, Derek White, the one, people will bring this up. They don't know if he's a true point guard, but I think Derek White is a point guard.
For what you need, if you're the Kings, let's say he's playing next to Zach LaVine, for a guy, who can hit a three, who's going to be smart with the basketball, who's going to play good defense, who's going to do the dirty work, who, when the opponent's on an 8-0 run and you need somebody to bring the ball up the court and settle things down and just get the team into their offense, Derek White can absolutely.
Yeah, he's not a natural creating playmaker, even in the same vein that I would put Malik Monk.
Mm-hmm.
But he is a very good player.
I would take him there for sure.
Yeah.
I've got Emmanuel Quickley a step down from that. I've got Emmanuel Quickley as tier 3.
Yeah, Quickley is super physical, super, I don't want to say super athletic, but like, he's a powerful player. And that's something that I think the Kings could use. I mean, he really is built like Ron Artest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's just a big guard. Yeah, I would take him, but again, he's more of a scorer. He's not much of a pass first guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I guess we could do tiers of pass first versus scoring, best
tiers.
Two-way players. Like, there's a lot.
Maybe Quickley. I'm sorry. Maybe Quickley goes tier 3. 2 is the Morant, Young, Ball trio.
Yeah,
I think they all have tons of upside, but with a red flag here, a red flag there.
Yeah, they all do.
Gives me a little bit of, but the
one or two things. Yeah, they do one or two things spectacularly.
Yeah,
but then they also have some warts.
So I think it's Garland and White. Be thrilled if the Kings can land one of them. Morant, Young, or Ball. I think you're changing the trajectory of your franchise. And Emmanuel Quickley is third, where you feel okay about it, but
yeah,
it, like, not underwhelmed, but when names like John Morant and Darius Garland and Trae Young are being thrown around, it's like, all right.
Well, your big three of Morant, Ball, and Trae Young, they're the ones that get all the fanfare.
Right.
That's where you would, quote unquote, maybe win the day.
Yeah.
But you might not win as many games as if you went with one of the other guys who are more functional.
So I have another Celtic that we've not talked about, who's not a point guard, who I think would be a perfect fit for the Kings. And if the Celtics are kind of dismantling this thing, we're going to have to talk about it. That's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. He's Joe Brazil. I almost said Ja Brazil. That's not your name. Joe Brazil. We're the insider, sponsored by